Hi everyone, this is Azita, and today I want to talk to you about how to maintain your joy when life becomes tough. Sounds complicated, sounds almost impossible at times of difficulty, but if it's practiced correctly and continuously, then it's not that difficult. So, before I talk about how to do it, I'm going to talk about three different general behavior people have regarding the hardship that they experience. And then I'm going to show you a skill that will uh, help you maintain your goal, which is increasing joy at a time of difficulty. And this technique is based on concept called internal observation versus external observation, which I'm going to talk to you about it fairly quickly. So as I mentioned, there are, from my point of view, three major categories of responses when we have difficulties. One would be we get overwhelmed, our emotional response becomes extremely intense. We feel all sorts of feelings: sadness, anger, anxiety, depression, and you name it, and we merge with the feelings. So we can't detach, it becomes one with us. We talk about it, we think about it, we feel about it 24/7, and we cannot detach from our emotional responses and our body sensations. Uh, so that's one. And then the other one is avoidance, which this group of people usually want to not think about anything. They don't want to talk about it, they don't want to feel anything, and they want an easy way out. They want happiness right that time and at the moment, and they get to drugs, alcohol, excessive sex, gambling, and things like that. But at the end of the day, they're going to face more problems because that joy is not necessarily what brings them ultimate joy. And the group that we want to advocate and we want to be part of is not the avoidance group, not the group that detaches fully, and the group that attaches fully to the experience. So if this is a continuum and avoidance behavior is here and the attachment, completely merge with the emotional response to the situation is here, we want to be somewhere in between, which is a combination of two, but it's actually not attaching to the internal process, as I mentioned, and not completely avoiding it. So that is where I get to the technique that I'm going to talk to you about, which is based on internal observation and external observation. So what I mean by internal observation? Internal means going inside you. And what does that mean? It means that when you have something happens, go inside and observe what you think, what you feel, and what your body sensation is. Observing is different than merging. Observing is different than becoming one with those responses I just talked about. Observing means that you actually detach yourself a tiny bit and watch yourself as having all those feelings. That is called internal observation. That's what I'm calling it, internal observation. Now, the other concept is external observation. Now, what do I mean by that? External observation is based on the concept of mindfulness. Mindfulness is addressing both internal and external observation because you observe everything. But I'm categorizing it based on two concepts so it becomes easier for you to practice. So external observation means that you observe whatever is around you with all your senses, with your hearing, seeing, smelling, touch. I think I forgot one. I think I forgot one more sense. We have 5 senses that we can use. The more we use, the more comprehensive the experience is. So external observation, I mean observing your environment with all your five senses. So if the chair I'm sitting on is rough, if it's soft, so the sensation of that on my body, if the air is blowing and it's gentle or not gentle, or if there's no air to actually breathe because we are too tensed up, and if the light is sunny day, is foggy day, it's a cloudy day, if it's cold, if it's warm, if the bird is flying, if the tree is big, small, the shades of the green it has, all these the experiences of our senses towards your environment. And that I call an external observation. Watch what's happening moment to moment. So this one, when you are externally observe, you're not necessarily thinking about what's happening inside you. You're sort of getting distance from your emotions and your body sensations, everything about the hardship you're experiencing right now. So you detach from the emotions, but instead but instead you observe your environment. You change your focus, you change your attention. You're not in anymore, you're out. So now the actual technique that I promised you is this. When a hardship happens, when you notice that you're getting overwhelmed, and it means that the emotions and thoughts are recurring, they are flooding you, you're one with them, and you can't separate yourself, so you constantly think about it, and you're on the verge of avoiding all of this and go to the bar, for instance. So when you notice that this is becoming too much of attaching to your internal response to the crisis, to the environment, to the hardship of life you're experiencing at the moment, shift to the external. Now, I say it sounds easy, but actually it becomes very difficult while you're facing this situation, while you're facing the difficult moment. But with practice, it gets easier and easier. So the tip for that is, when you notice you're merging with your emotions, you're becoming one with it, you can allocate some time. You say, okay, I am going to worry, I'm going to think, I'm going to talk about it with all my friends, with everybody, in a certain interval of time. I'm dedicating this time for my merging with whatever it is, and hopefully I can problem solve, hopefully I can contain myself. But if at that period of time, for instance, you say, okay, for half an hour I'm going to think about it, I'm going to problem solve it, I'm going to just merge with it, then if you see that you can get somewhere, that's great. If not, start observing it. Observe your emotional response, and that's what I talked about, internal observation. Now, if again it becomes super difficult to maintain your internal observation, and you notice that you're getting immersed with it again, you're merging with your emotional response, then you detach, and that's a very conscious behavior. What do I mean by detach? You observe externally. So you put your focus consciously, say, okay, time's up. I'm not going to think about, feel about anything about this situation right now that I'm in, and I'm just going to put my attention to the outside life. I'm going to feel anything. Feel is the wrong word here. I'm going to see, touch, hear, all my senses to experience what's around me. If the bed that I'm resting and I'm thinking on is soft, is it comfortable on the pillow is comfortable on my head, attending to whatever is around you, whatever it is. And this has to be 100% towards that moment. Now, if it becomes super difficult because the hardship is tough, we can between internal observation and external observation. And what I mean by that is as follows. Maybe half an hour of obsessing, thinking, feeling whatever it is, hopefully being able to observe it, and maybe 5 minutes. 5 minutes, not more, right at the beginning, of putting your attention to outside, observe externally. And then again, half an hour thinking, feeling, getting immersed with it, and then time out, and maybe this time 7 minutes of external observation. And then you can increase your external observation longer and longer. And if you maintain the observation, and the goal is to create the external observation longer than internal observation that you have, and ultimately be able to be in the moment, and finally at the end be able to simply observe what's happening inside you and completely become observant of your internal experience. This way you can maintain tremendous amount of joy, because after all, what life is going on right now. And if you can comfort yourself by noticing that your existence is in the context of the life here and now, you are more capable of tolerating what's going on, and you can in fact problem solve much better, and in fact not be scared by your emotions because you're observing them. Now, there are so many different pitfalls that you might face and prevent you from doing this activity, and I'm going to talk about those couple of series possibly of pitfalls that you might face and prevent them in my next videos. So I hope you have a chance to practice this exercise that I told you. You can practice it at a time that is not such a difficult time for you, to gain some kind of a mastery over it. In fact, it's much easier to do it when things are not that tough. So you can practice it and you can understand what are the pitfalls you're facing. And if you notice anything and you want to pick on my brain, I'm here for you. You can shoot me an email and I respond to you, and hopefully I can help you achieve what you need to achieve, which is joy at difficult times in life, and actually increasing